We will learn how to use slope-intercept form to identify the slope and the y-intercept of a line. How to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form. How to write an equation of a line given its slope and y-intercept. How to use the slope and y-intercept to graph a linear equation. How to recognize parallel and perpendicular lines. And how to use slope-intercept form to write an equation to model data. Logical evolution for slope-intercept form. If we combine point of the line, which is y-intercept, and slope of the line, we will have stable line, and this combination will give us an equation of this line, and we would call this the slope-intercept form. And then we will learn how to solve linear equation for y in order to get slope-intercept form. After that, we will have project in order to graph equation using slope-intercept form. And then we will work on project how to interpret y-intercept and slope. And one more problem would be application for slope-intercept form. Short review. Linear equation in two variables. Y equals positive 1x and positive 2. And graph of this linear equation is straight line. And straight line means points on this line, and each point is a solution of this equation. In order to graph this straight line, we need any 2 points from bunch of these ones, infinitely many of them. We have to use any 2 separate points. And we learn how to use x-intercept and y-intercept, these special 2 points. It wasn't difficult to find, and we can graph this linear equation. But to find x and y-intercepts, you remember we use standard form. Modeling. If we have just one point, and if we draw the line through this particular point, line is not stable, because to be stable, we need 2 points. And if we have slope of the line, like this one, 1 over 1, so we know steepness of the line, but we don't know location of this line. Now I want you to see what will happen if you combine point and slope together. As you see, now we practically got second point, and as a result we have first point and second point of the line. We use y-intercept and slope in order to get stable line. Algebraically, we can describe this process using what we would call the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where b stands for y-intercept and m stands for slope. In this particular case, for this particular line, this equation will be y equals 1 over 1 times x and positive 2, where 1 over 1 is a slope and 2 is y-intercept. Now, if you see graph and corresponding equation, you know what is what, because y-intercept in this case is positive 2, and slope is negative 4 over 1. rise is -4 and run is +1. One more example. We have graph and we have an equation. Now you know that from this equation y-intercept is 2, this is point on the graph, and then slope is 4/1, rise is +4, and run is +1. One more graph, an equation. From this equation we can see that y-intercept is +3, here is 1 point, and then slope is -7/5. So we have to go down 7 units and then 5 to the right, and we supposed to be on the graph, and this is our second point. Now let's practice more. Example number 1. Y is 4/1x and +2. So slope is 4/1 and y-intercept is +2. Y is -4/1x and +2. Slope is -4/1 and +2 is y-intercept. Y is -1/4x and -4. -1/4 is slope and -4 is y-intercept. One more. Y is -7/5x and +3. Slope is -7/5 and y-intercept is +3. Next example is slightly tricky because we can see slope because y equals -7/5x. So slope is -7/5. But how about y-intercept? Oh yes, we can always add 0. Adding 0 doesn't change anything, but we can see that y-intercept now is 0. And one more. Here is y is -3. Okay, so we want to see slope. So if we add 0, in this case it will be 0 times x, we can say y-intercept is -3 and slope would be 0. Now let's look one more time into testing problem for slope. Now you can see that cost of service each towing company represents by equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals 4x and +5, y equals 3x and +15, y equals 2x and 30. And 5, 15, and 30, this is y-intercepts you can see on graph, and each number represents initial fee which you have to pay to company in order to tow your car. And coefficients 4, 3, and 2, which you can show as 4/1 or 3/1 or 2/1, those coefficients they are slopes, and each coefficient, each slope show how much you're supposed to pay for company per 1 mile. 4/1 means $4 per 1 mile. 3/1 means $3 per 1 mile, and 2/1 means $2 per 1 mile. As you see, this is a practical approach. Example number 1. +7x and +3y equals 21, and we have request put the equation in slope-intercept form by solving for y. How can we do this? We have to move positive 7x from the left to the right. First, don't forget to change sign. Now we have positive 3y, but we just need 1. So we have to divide it by positive 3 each piece on both sides. And simplify. Positive 3 divided by positive 3 is positive 1. And 21 over 3 is just 7. Now we have positive 1y, or just y, equal negative 7 over 3x and positive 7. Negative 7 over 3 is slope, and positive 7 is y-intercept. One more example. Negative 3x and negative 7y is 21. And we have a request. Put the equation in slope-intercept form by solving for y. We have to move negative 3x from the left to the right first. Don't forget to change sign. Negative becoming positive 3x. Now we have negative 7y, but we need only positive 1y. We have to divide it by negative 7 each piece on both sides. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 would be positive 1, and 21 positive divided by negative 7 would be negative 3. Now we have an equation in slope-intercept form, y equal negative 3 over 7x and negative 3, where negative 3 over 7 is slope and negative 3 is y-intercept.